we cannot expect only government to come and do the things. Obviously, it's the government's job. But apart from that, various NGOs are working in the field of, community-based rehabilitation. So we as a school also, we go from time to time in our local areas and identify. So screening is first and foremost. Once you identify children inside the houses that, okay, fine, these children are having this kind of problems, then you formulate a plan for them, and then you identify what all lacking areas are there. Some children will be having only problems with academic issues. Some children will be having, issues like speech or hearing impaired they will be, or physically disabled. So depending upon child's problem, we have to formulate plan and we have to go ahead from them.
I'm Jitendra Singh, banker turned entrepreneur and author of the book Perfect Mastering the Art of Selling. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs and more. Today I have with me Ms. Pratima Tiwary. She is a dedicated and versatile professional with over 15 years of experience in special education and administration. Her career began as a secondary level English teacher driven by her passion for teaching. However, a pivot movement occurred when her son was diagnosed with autism in 2003. Committed to providing the best care for her child, she made a transformative shift into the realm of special education. Her enthusiasm led her to volunteer with Tamanna, a specialized NGO in Delhi NCR, where she expanded her knowledge in the field. As a special educator and a parent of an autistic child, she gained profound insights into the challenges faced by individuals with disabilities. Her unwavering dedication to bring the gap between school management, regular teachers, students, counselors, and parents led her pivot role as the lead head of the special wing at a prestigious inclusive school in Dwarka, serving 110 children. Her exceptional organizational planning and administrative skills allowed her to successfully, effectively balance the demanding roles of teaching and administration. Beyond the school setting, she has made a significant impact in community-based rehabilitation program, conducting awareness workshops on autism and inclusion, and currently holds the position of head of the department overseeing Aasmaan, a section dedicated to deployment challenged individuals within an esteemed inclusive school in Dwarka. So today she will be discussing with us about her life journey. So let us hear from her. Welcome, ma'am. The platform is open, and now over to you.
Thank you so much for this, detailed introduction. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm honored that you have called me over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, first thing I'd like to know from you is like, how did your past life has affected the person you wanted to be in your life and what you are? So it's moreover related to your personal journey when you were growing as a child. So what thoughts you were having and comparing those thoughts with now?
Okay. I was never a very career-oriented person. I never thought that I'm going to be in specific lines. So those were the times when girls' education was given, but it was not given as a priority. And we were not raised up to be a very independent person or something like that. So education was more or less important, but not given from the perspective of making careers. So I got married very early in my life when my education was still going on. I was still doing my graduation when I got married, and then my husband was in Indian Navy, so we were always posted in very remote areas where educational facilities were not much. So I did my nursery teachers training and I did my B.Ed from distant universities because of we were staying in very remote areas. So I was teaching in Naval Public School at that time. So then I decided that I will be in education field only. So I was teaching in a regular school, which is a Naval Public School. And when my son got diagnosed with autism, from there the journey started in the field of disability and rehabilitation. So he got diagnosed in 2003, and I used to take him to Tamanna and other NGOs for his early intervention program, and I used to sit over there, then volunteer over there. Then I gained my own knowledge about these children. Then I did my second B.Ed after that, and slowly got into this field. And presently, I'm heading the special need wing of inclusive school in Dwarka. So this is
That's
how
really
it began.
That's really great, ma'am. So now further, if I ask you about your things you are passionate about in your life, and what is the role of motivation and inspiration onto this further?
Okay, if you're asking about passions, well, I've got a lot many passions. So my children are my passions. If I say my children, it doesn't mean only the children whom I've given birth to, but also my students. I'm very passionate about them. Then I like traveling a lot. I like reading. Gardening is my hobby. So whatever I'm doing with full passion. Gardening is like kind of a stress buster for me. Reading is obviously whenever I'm stuck. Initially, it was like all the time I used to have one book with me, but slowly that reading has reduced a little bit, and I'm mostly into podcast hearing and journals and all those I'm reading. And with my children, most of my time goes with my children because I'm in the school since morning 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I'm there in my school, so all my dedication and all my working areas are going with those children. And these children they kind of give me motivation. When I see small children with very non-verbal communications, they slowly grow, come out of their shell. They start speaking. They start sharing things with various kind of gestures and all those. It gives me a kind of inspiration that nothing is the end of the road. Just because a child is disabled, it doesn't mean that there is no hope for them. And sometimes so many things happens which actually feels miraculous. So motivation is all around. You just have to find it.
Right. It's really wonderful. So now further, if I ask you like your vision, mission, and goal in life for next 5 to 10 years from now, so what do you think that should be?
Well, like they say, charity begins from home. So my first goal is to make my son independent. Obviously, he has started going to. He has been given a job in lemon trees hotels in Gurgaon. So he has started his career with that. He has just joined lemon tree hotels as a guest service associate. So one milestone achieved for me. Now I want him to become more independent in his daily life skills like traveling through metro, money handling and all. I want him to become independent in all these areas, teaching him more life skills. Other than that, whenever I leave my school, so I'm right now I'm doing my job. Whenever I'm going to leave my school, I feel that I'm going to, that is 110%, I'm going to volunteer with a lot of NGOs are doing a very marvelous job. So my thought and my idea is to whenever I leave my school, which will be in another 4-5 years or so, I'm going to do volunteer with NGOs like Muskan in Vasant Kunj. They're doing a good job in giving vocational training to children with special need. In fact, adults with special need. So I am definitely going to do volunteer. The other NGO which needs volunteers like us. So I will be definitely putting on all my skills and all my expertise and all my time with these NGOs. That's what I've thought about my further journey.
Really a great thought. So, ma'am, if I ask you now about your work and experiences, like how you started your working and what all you are doing now currently.
Okay, my journey started with Anant only. Anant is the name of my son. So my son was going to the school and sent me his Dwarka, and I was going with my son. Then I got opportunity to volunteer with these students. So I started working with them. Then after that I finished my second B.Ed, that is in rehabilitation, special education, and after that I started working with them. Then slowly, after some years of working as a special educator, I got an opportunity to head that section. So presently I'm doing counseling of parents. I'm taking classes as a special educator. Then I'm also doing a lot of other responsibilities like bridging the gap between parents and teachers, regular school teachers and parents and special education. So these are the different pillars of special education. So if a child has an inclusive setup, there is this parents are there, then the regular school teachers are there, and then special educators are there. So one person has to be listening between all these three areas, and then school counselors are there. So my job basically is to liaison between all these four pillars and bring them all onto the same page and do the work for the betterment of the child. So that is what I am right now doing. Apart from that, we do counseling sessions, and then we do take workshops on sensitization program. I do workshop in my school also, as well as other schools also. So this is how we are trying to do our bit and sensitize the society about the special need cases. That is what exactly I'm doing right now.
Right. You've been really engaged through special education, moreover, onto this further. That's really wonderful that you are supporting not only your child but also other child who are suffering from similar or different kind of disability where they need attention and support. That's really wonderful. And you are also working with parents. That is even more great that you are supporting, guiding them as well, like how they can be part of their children's journey more effectively and more better way. So now if I ask you, like, what are the important life lessons you have learned from your personal and professional journey so far? So what are those 2-3 learnings you would like to share with us?
Life lessons, like first is don't stop believing in miracles. Don't stop believing in God miracles. It does happen, and we see this in our daily lives. And then it's very important for you, for anybody in fact, to be happy. It's very easy to become burdened with the life's problems. If you have got a child with special needs, mostly the parents go into a kind of trauma, and it's very difficult for them to come out of that trauma and do betterment of the child. So it's very much important that you don't stop living your life, and if you are happy, a happy parent can only raise a happy child. So being happy, self-love, all these things are slowly I'm learning with my own life journey. And certainly believing in the miracle of God is one thing which I passionately and definitely believe.
Great. So now further, if I ask you, like, since you have been working closely, very closely, in fact, with the special needs, children with special needs. So onto this, if I ask you, like, why are community-based rehabilitation programs are essential for underprivileged children for special needs, and how do they enhance societal inclusivity?
See, it's very important. Generally, what happens that there are stratas of society in which there are a lot of problem. Poverty is one of the greatest problems. So, we go to places like slum areas and small villages where a rickshaw puller is staying, or the local vendors are staying, or the people who are selling vegetables and all those people are staying. So, in majority of time, awareness is not there and nothing reaches them because of the poverty. Even if the child is on a very marginal disability category, still they are not taken care of properly. So if suppose a child with learning disability or a child who is on a mild level of spectrum is there inside a family, those child also go unnoticed, and in later period of life, since they are not getting proper education, since they are not being taken care of properly, their severity gets affected, and from mild to with the passage of time it becomes more severe just because no intervention happens. So there are a lot of problem like sanitation problem is there, awareness problem is there. So, and we cannot expect only government to come and do the things. Obviously it's the government's job, but apart from that, various NGOs are working in the field of community-based rehabilitation. So we as a school also, we go from time to time in our local areas and identify. So screening is first and foremost. Once you identify children inside the houses that okay fine, these children are having this kind of problems, then you formulate a plan for them, and then you identify what all lacking areas are there. Some children will be having only problems with academic issues, some children will be having issues like speech or hearing impaired they will be, or physically disabled. So depending upon child's problem, we have to formulate plan and we have to go ahead from them, and then involving different therapists in the role. Like suppose if a child is having speech issues, naturally you have to invite speech therapist to come, or the child is having some kind of sensory problems, then the occupational therapist pitches in. So it's a teamwork, and it's very important that not only a single person should be going. A team, basically, if the team goes, then it
Correct.
becomes a better chances of getting rectified. So obviously, CBR projects are very important, and all the NGOs and government organizations should give a proper thought on that.
Correct. So it's a collaborative effort with the NGOs,
Absolutely.
government, parents, teachers, and also the kind of involvement of the student or the child that really matters. If they all work in a sync, definitely they can create something better for these special, children require special needs. So onto this
Absolutely,
further, like
absolutely.
if I ask you, like, could you share success stories highlighted the positive impact of community-based rehabilitation programs on children and their communities?
Okay, when we talk about this, I recall one story. There was this child we were working with in Goila Dairy, which is near Dwarka, Sector 19. So it's a small village of, like I said, rickshaw puller are there, local small vendors are there. So there was this child who was having, in all probability, he was not properly diagnosed, but we understood that he is having mild level of autism plus learning disability. So he was doing nothing. He was just sitting in the house and watching TV all the time, and a small child of 7-8 years old. So we started first. We did the screening part. We identified the child. Okay, fine. The child is having this kind of problem. Then we started twice in a week. We used to go in these houses, and we started with basic educational part, basic arithmetic, identification of numbers, letters, and all those. And we started training the child. So in a very small span of time, the child started picking up, because he was just a case of mild autism and mild LD, and just because nobody was giving a proper care to him, he was significantly lacking behind. So he was 7 to 8 years old, and he was not even having proper identification of number or letters. So we started training him, and within 6 months or a year, he came to such level that he started going to a local school over there in standard 1. So that was a very and parents were very happy. He started picking up very fast, and parents were very happy that the child is having some kind of progress. And then we talked to the schools for fees and all those. Then EWS category, and the fees were so he was not supposed to give fees. Only the books and all those were provided. That also we pitched in money, and we used to provide books and all those for that. And that child, within a couple of years after he completed his after some years, he was able to do his 10th standard through NIS. And then he started sitting in his father's shop. His father had a small shop over there. So we tracked his journey since quite some time. And then when he started sitting with his father's shop, his father was very happy that he's able to do calculations and all those with the help of calculators and all. He was able to do all the kind of calculations. He was helping his father out. So the parents were very grateful, and we felt it as a achievement. So this is one story. Like this, similar stories are all around floating. We just have to put in our little bit of effort, and we have to involve community in that, in the sense that we create awareness program for the communities, in which we call mothers especially that, and we give them small presentations, and we tell them basically that how you can help your children, how it is very important. Education is so important for them, and especially the children who are in the educable group, those who can be educated, and they are not being done so because of the lack of awareness.
Right.
So screening, diagnosis, giving training, involving therapists, involving community, everything goes hand in hand. Otherwise, there's no hope.
Correct. You rightly pointed out that collaborative effort of each group that can
Yes.
bring in extended support, extended guidance for the children to understand, like first thing to understand where the child is lacking, and then create a program onto that so that the child can cope up with the program on his own pace. Not necessarily he should follow the pace of other students, which sometimes might not be possible, because this is a situation which is based on case to case basis, because every child has a different kind of
Absolutely.
situation. So that really can help if the child has a specific needs which is required. If that is understood properly, then the solution can be given.
Absolutely.
Right. So, what challenges exist in establishing and maintaining these programs, and what strategies can be used to overcome them effectively?
See, challenges are many. First and foremost, like I said, poverty, lack of awareness, lack of sensitization. If a child is not able to speak properly, or if a child is behaving in certain manner, they will simply say "pagal hai." Those kind of words are being used. And once the child is labeled as something as called "pagal" or something like that, then it becomes very easy for the parents to just leave the child. So lack of awareness, sensitization, resources are not there, and then that strata of society, I feel, is completely forgotten. Nobody thinks it important to go find out. So, screening and identifying, we should have a kind of data with ourselves, or the government should have a kind of data in which every area, how many children with special needs are there. If that identification is there, then only the work can be done. Abhi, right now, we don't have any kind of data with us in which we know that particular area has got this much number of children with disability, because there is no screening. There's no screening which is being done for these children. And then, even if by God's grace, some parents are, jagruk enough to go and do the identification part, still the therapies and everything is so costly that they can't afford it. So everything has to be made available to them. Like, villages in rural areas, we have got Anganwadis and all those where the smaller children are taken care of. Similar kind of things should be done for children with special need also, where counselors should be there, where a therapist should be there, where a pediatrician should be there, and different kind of therapists like occupational therapists, speech therapists, special educators, all these doctors, on-call doctors, all these teams should be there, even if not on a regular basis, at least on-call basis, or weekly week may suppose twice or thrice they can come and give their time. So all these things are important, and without these, I don't think anything will happen. A system needs to be placed in these areas.
Correct. There is a lot of work needs to be done from not only through the government but also through the society, through the parents and schools also.
Government schools are there, and government has made it mandatory that every school should have a special educators, and every government school is having a special educator, but they are only for the namesake. In one government school, there will be one special educator who will be going to 3-4 different government schools, one teacher, and 60-70 identified cases. How is this ratio working? This ratio is not going to work under any circumstances.
Not possible for single teacher.
Absolutely. So government is also doing a eyewash kind of thing, and without being properly, dedicated, without being having a proper vision about this, nothing is going to happen.
Right.
So it's a challenge. It has to be taken heads on.
So every every pillar in this community or is in this program should work effectively so that we can create a effective environment for these children.
Absolutely.
So that they get the right education as well as knowledge, and also later once they are reaches that age where they can work, so then work also needs to be provided to them on the basis of their abilities and the functionality they can perform basis that. So now we are moving on to the next one, coming back to you again. If I ask you what is your take on success, what do you feel about it?
Okay, success is it's very subjective actually, if you ask me. So for a child who cannot even speak, doesn't have a vocabulary of 50 to 60 words, and he starts speaking properly, starts putting his needs forward, then that's a success for him. A child who is a normal regular child, and he is expecting that he will get 98% marks, and he gets 90% marks, and he is not happy. He feels that he is not successful enough. So it's very subjective, I feel. For me, success is if I am happy what I'm doing, I'll think that I'm successful. There is no kind of major for me. Okay, how do I measure my success? So if I'm able to help even a single child, if I'm able to make difference in the life of children I'm working with, I find myself to be successful. I don't need anything else to feel happy about. I don't need any outside agency or somebody else coming and telling me that you are very successful and all. It's like being happy in what you're doing, and making a difference in the life of people around you. That is, for me, that is the success.
Correct.
That is what I measure success.
Nicely explained. So now we are moving on to the next one, like last one. So any message or advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Okay, so this is for young mothers, all the young mothers who is having a special need child. I would say that do not stop living your life. It's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the journey. Educate yourself with your child's condition. Suppose your child is having autism, you should be knowing what exactly autism is, how autism affects the children, what all children behave on a spectrum. If a child is, what all kind of behavior can you expect from them, how you can make a difference in your child's life, how creative can you be. You have to educate yourself. You should not be dependent on your special educators or the regular school teachers or any other Tom, Dick and Harry coming and telling you that you should be doing this, you should be doing that. It's very it's normal and a regular process that parents are many times getting misinformed and misdiagnosed. So unless until you yourself are knowledgeable enough about your child's condition, you'll be able to work in a better manner. And instead of running from pillar to post, getting your child registered in this organization, that organization, it is very important that you educate yourself, and then do not stop living your life. Many a times I have seen in my career that families are falling apart. There is a drift between husband and wife which comes because of a child who is very hyperactive or who is in a severe condition or a profound condition. The fathers are moving away and not taking the responsibility, or the mothers are moving away and not taking the responsibility. So it's very important that you both of you should be working as a team and not shunning away your responsibilities. That is important. Having a life and a kind of support system which is needed for your child is very important for you. So suppose I'm living over here in Delhi, and if I have got my relatives or friends around me, it's important that I should be able to leave my child for a couple of hours in a week and go for some movie, or have a life of my own, at least for those couple of hours. Mostly the parents are into guilt if they are sending the child away for 1 hour, 2 hours to some other place, and they are always in guilt. Oh my God, I have slapped my child, I'm guilty. Oh my God, I have left my child in someone else's place and I'm feeling guilty about it. No, you should not. You should not feel guilty about it, because unless until you have got your own mental stability, you will not be able to raise your child in the manner you should.
Correct.
So this is for all the young parents, that please have a life of your own along with raising your special need children. That is my one only submission for everyone.
Correct. You rightly pointed out both the things are important if you are having a child with special needs. So you should be aware of processes, how to raise your child.
Absolutely.
And what all needs they may require and what kind of behavior they may have on different situations. So you should be aware of all these things so that you can take care of your child in a better way and help them educate and grow better. And also on the other side, you also have your relationship with family members, spouse, or yourself as well, like your health, your mindset. That is equally important. You should take care of yourself and your relationship as well on the same side. So that was really amazing insights you have shared. And thank you so very much, ma'am. You have shared so many wonderful things, and you have shared your views about the needs which is required by these children and how to raise them effectively and in a better way, and how people associated or people working on these areas can also be a great support to each other. So that's really wonderful. So I really like the discussion we had today. Probably we can have some more discussions later on this topic or maybe on other topic. So looking forward to hear with you soon again. Thank you so very much once again, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
And also I will share your social media link along with the interview so that people can be in touch touch with you, take your help and
Yeah, no
guidance
worries.
as well.
No worries.
So guys, don't
Sure.
forget to check that out too. And thank you so very much everyone for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you and bye bye.